Lead poisoning is a serious risk. Lead was used in our paint and our gasoline for many years until it was banned by the EPA in the late 70s. But that doesn't mean the problem went away. Today, millions of homes across the country still contain lead paint that could potentially poison a child. In August of 2016, the city of Toledo passed an ordinance that requires all rental properties of 4 units or less and in-home family daycares built prior to 1978 to have an inspection. This inspection is to verify that the property is being maintained and that any potential lead hazards inside the home is not exposing those that live there. Today, we're going to follow an inspector and see what these inspections look like, and also provide tips on how to prepare the property for this inspection.
Here, booties, Josh. Let's go.
Booties? Booties? Hey, you didn't say anything about booties. Chuck Long is a licensed risk assessor, and he's been doing lead inspections for over 11 years. And he's just one of the many inspectors registered with the health department who can perform these local lead inspections. So here we are walking around the outside of the property. Explain to me what we're doing. What are we looking for?
We're looking for deteriorating paint around, on the siding, on windows, around doors.
Okay, deteriorated paint, what's that?
Deteriorating paint is paint that is chipping, peeling, cracking, generally in bad shape.
Okay. So if I have deteriorated paint, are you looking for every little piece of chipped paint on the home?
No, we're not here to nitpick. We're looking for major sources of peeling or cracking. Like over 10% of a component or over like 20% of like siding. We're looking for major areas of deterioration.
Okay. So if I have deteriorated paint, as a homeowner, what should I do to try to fix that?
You can have it resided like this house has been, or you can do what's called paint film stabilization, which is merely scraping the old stuff and repainting it. The key is this work should be done by an RRP certified individual.
What does RRP stand for?
Renovate, repair, and paint.
To become RRP certified, someone needs to have attended a one-day EPA-approved class instructing them on how to properly renovate, repair, and paint a home in a lead-safe manner, and properly clean up after the work is complete. Uh-oh, so it looks like we've got some deteriorated paint here.
Yep, that sure is deteriorated.
So here we have a front porch where it looks like it's been previously painted, and because it's outside and it's a highly trafficked area, and it is Ohio, it looks like it's starting to wear away over time. Are we going to be testing this paint for lead?
No, during these inspections we don't test the paint, we just presume that it contains lead based on the age of the home.
Okay, but this right here could cause me to fail the inspection.
Absolutely.
All right, so what do I need to do to fix this porch so that it would pass for the inspection?
Something like this, the easiest thing to do would be put like an indoor-outdoor carpet over it, but you can always repaint it. In extreme cases, you can actually strip the paint off of it and just go back to bare wood.
Okay, so you're telling me this is going to take a little bit of work for me as a property owner to get this ready for inspection, correct?
That's correct.
But you're suggesting that this is something that I would do before you would ever come here to do the inspection?
Absolutely. You don't want to have a failed inspection because you want to have a longer certificate.
Longer certificate. What do you mean by the longer certificate?
Well, the City of Toledo actually gives out a couple types of certificates. If an inspector like myself comes out and you have conditions that cause it to fail, you're only eligible for a 3-year lead safe certificate. But if we come out and everything passes, you're good for a 6-year lead safe certificate.
Okay, so hypothetically, I fixed this before you came out here and it passes, I could get a 6-year certificate?
Absolutely.
Deteriorated paint is not the only thing that inspectors are looking for during the visual inspection. So talk to me about bare soil. Chuck, why is this an issue?
We look at bare soil because that can be taken into the home. And as you see in this bare soil, there's paint chips, which is presumed to be lead. Kids can play with it. And unfortunately, it's within 3 feet of the drip line.
So the drip line is referring to the 3-foot section outside the home, correct?
That is correct, yep.
Okay, so this would cause me to fail right now?
Absolutely, yep.
So how would I be able to fix this in order to pass this inspection?
Well, the easiest thing would be to police up the chips and then cover it with impermanent type solution like mulch. You apply it in a thick enough manner, like 6 inches.
6 inches. Why 6 inches of mulch?
EPA recommendation.
Are you going to take a ruler when you come out here do an inspection and make sure that it is 6 inches?
No, again, that's not the purpose of the rule. It's just to make sure that there's sufficient cover so children aren't being able to get into it and play with it.
Okay. So once again, that's something that I should have done as a homeowner before I ever call you to come out and do the inspection.
Yep. Again, you don't want to have any kind of failure. So yeah, this should be done prior to an actual lead inspection.
Over time, mulch does have a tendency to wear away. So in an area like that, what are some other options that we can use instead of mulch?
Well, you can do something more permanent. You can always put fencing or something to eliminate kids playing in that area, or landscaping, or some people even can put concrete around in an area. But mulch is usually easiest.
So is that everything for the exterior inspection?
Yep, that's everything the ordinance has us look at.
The ordinance calls for an inspection of the entire house, right?
That's right. We have to do an interior visual inspection along with dust wipe sampling.
Oh, all right. So now the booties.
That's right. You just cleaned, so you don't want me to fail the house because I brought the leaded dust in.
So here we are inside the home, and we're going to conduct the interior visual inspection. What is it that you're looking for?
Well, I'm looking at painted surfaces. I'm looking at walls, I'm looking at baseboards, I'm looking at windows, shelving, anything that could be painted. But specifically, I'm looking at the condition of the paint, seeing if it's peeling, deteriorating, chipping, or if it's a friction surface where the paint could be rubbed off. One of the other things I look for in an inspection is dust. And I'm looking for excessive dust on the main areas that I'll be sampling. I'm looking at floors and window sills and window troughs.
So here we have a window. The window sill looks pretty clean, but the window trough's a different story. Would this pass a visual inspection?
Unfortunately not. The City of Toledo ordinance doesn't allow visible dust to be present on the components that we're going to be testing.
So I better start cleaning?
Yep, and the floors too.
So talk to me about the floors. How should I be cleaning these?
Same way that you would clean the windows. Use a general purpose cleaner and mop the floors. You may have best results by making sure that you use a fresher mop head and empty your bucket regularly.
What if I have carpet instead of hardwood floors?
Best thing then is to use a HEPA filtered vacuum to clean the floors.
HEPA. What does HEPA mean?
HEPA stands for High Efficiency Particulate Air Filter. Basically, it's a vacuum that has a highly efficient filter that can collect and keep dust that it may pull up.
Can I use any old vacuum?
You could, but I wouldn't recommend it. You'll increase your chances of passing if you actually use a HEPA filtered vacuum.
So dust wipes. Let's talk about that. Why do we need the dust wipes?
Well, dust wipes show a direct correlation between a child's blood lead level and the amount of lead in the dust in a home.
Where are we taking these dust wipes?
Well, we take them on the floors, we take them on the window sills, and on the window troughs, and that is because that's where dust is going to be settling after renovation work or painting work.
Okay, so even if there's no children in the home, if renovation work was done, painting, repair, anything of that nature, the dust wipes double check to make sure that everything's been cleaned up in a lead safe manner, correct?
That is correct. Even though there might not be children in the home right now, we don't know what's going to be in the future.
Okay.
And so we always make sure that we leave it in a lead safe manner.
Awesome. Okay, so are we taking a sample in every window of the home?
No, we take samples in 4 rooms and on those 3 components I mentioned earlier.
Okay, so the floors, window sills, and window troughs, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So here we are in the living room, and it looks like we have a large couch in front of a large bay window. Would you typically take a sample at that window?
No, I'll visually assess the component, but if it's blocked, I'll usually pick a window that has access to it.
Final touch-up cleaning should be done the day of the inspection to further increase your chances of passing. The dust wipes cannot be taken until at least 60 minutes after the cleaning is done to allow any dust kicked up during the cleaning process to settle. So now the cleaning is done. We've waited 60 minutes to let the dust settle. I see you've got some gloves on. We've got a template. You still have your booties on. What are we going to do?
I'm going to collect the sample.
Oh, awesome. So you're folding it there.
Mm-hmm.
And
go one way, and then you go the other way. And I'm making a continuous motion, so I'm not shoving the dust around. I'm picking it up in one motion. Then I fold up the sample.
That's it?
Yep, that's it. Put it in our tube. Label the tube.
And now where does that tube go?
Then this tube gets sent off to a certified lab where they analyze it for the amount of lead present.
Okay. And if that sample comes back as it fails, what do we need to do?
You have to re-clean the area that failed, and then it has to be resampled.
So that's why it's important for me to clean as best as I can the first time, so that way I can have a better chance of passing the inspection, passing the sample, and then you wouldn't have to worry about coming back out here, correct?
That's right. I mean, because you have to pay for another inspection, and then you get put on the 3-year cycle instead of the 6-year, and you want to have a 6-year certificate.
So that's what the inspection looks like?
Yep, pretty much.
Anything else?
Well, once the results come in, we'll fill out the paperwork, return it to the property owner, and then they will file that with their $45 fee to the health department and get their appropriate lead safe certificate.
So in summing everything up, everything we did here today, the deteriorated paint, the cleaning, and then the bare soil, these are all things that are general maintenance activities to prepare the property. Is that correct?
That's right.
Awesome. Chuck, thanks. Appreciate your time today.
No problem. Have a good day.
If you have any further questions regarding the process, you can reach out to any of the registered inspectors. A regularly updated list of inspectors, along with many other resources, can be found at lucascountyhealth.com.